In watching the June fireside chat from PlayStation, June 13th, I realized that PlayStation may be in between a rock and a hard place. And the rock and the hard place is they are selling perception and they've sold it for such a long time. But Xbox has now come in to destroy and damage that perception with its Play Anywhere initiative and putting games even on PlayStation. This has now changed the conversation. It's changed the dynamic. So when PlayStation executives sat down in front of investors, when it came time to actually talk about their multi-plat strategy, they talked about it, but they pretty much wrapped it around a lot of, they kind of wrapped it around a lot of corporate speak. But some of it was quite clear. Linnaeus she dropped what I thought was the biggest bombshell, talking about how they were going to go ahead and seek out incremental revenue on, on the other platforms. She said off console. But could it be that PlayStation actually desires off console, but the way they've structured their business, they can't necessarily implement its full, how do I put it? They can't really implement its full outcome the way that they want? And the answer to that is yes. They have to basically position themselves like their consoles are the main thing in their ecosystem, because that's actually is. It's pretty much their entire driver. Their business right now is highly dependent on it to sell subscriptions and so on and so forth, to, sell third-party games and so on and so forth. And that business strategy carries a lot of risk with it. And I'll show you why. And so in them looking at this, they know that they also need software sales. So what have they done? They have masterfully switched up the play while continuing to maintain that perception. Guys, are y'all listening to me? Let me break it down for you. So now their single player games, they've already made this whole thing like, oh yeah, our single player games are like the DNA of PlayStation, which is actually not necessarily the case from a financial perspective. You understand me? Let me show you something. Helldivers 2 sells gajillions of dollars compared to Marvel Spider-Man 2, or let me just say Horizon franchise. Because again, if we're looking at like a PlayStation IP, right? We're looking at Horizon, we're looking at God of War and all the above, right? Let's just say Horizon. And Helldivers 2 has basically continued to net more money, DLC, expansion, all of that stuff, right? And so they know that the DNA of their business needs to shift to the live service games as the major driver, the exclamation mark of their ecosystem, as Xbox is basically eating this joy of the live service games. They know this. Everybody knows this. PlayStation's aware. They're not unaware. They know exactly what it is that they need to do. Are you feeling me? Do you hear me? And so now what have they done is they've increased their investment in games like Helldivers 2 and reduced their investment in games like Horizon Zero Dawn single player. So notice Horizon is going the games as a service route. Listen very carefully, right? But they already told you that their live service games are going to go everywhere, or to go to PC or whatever the flip it is, or will go to PC day and date. So in order for them to use the reduced investment single player tentpole titles, they will now lead with the live service games, and then the low investment single player tentpole titles would then follow on the back end. This way they can keep the perception that PlayStation is not doing this multi-plat thing as they want, when in reality, financially, they're investing more in multi-platform than they are in exclusivity. Let me repeat that again. Control Z all of this. Let's go ahead and start from the top, because I think this is the biggest thing that nobody wants to say. Again, let's take it from the top. PlayStation is realizing that the money is in games as a service. In fact, as they tried Helldivers 2, it hit more than they could even imagine. They didn't even know what to do with it. Talking that nonsense of a PlayStation account, talking that nonsense of region locking and all that jazz. And then they finally unregion locked it, and they didn't need an account because the game made so much money. They didn't realize that the PC ecosystem is not too fond of them and their shenanigans. But if they would actually behave like a pro-consumer company, they'll make money. They sold a bunch. The game ended up on the Steam highest grossing games of the year list in 2024. Yes, it's there. Go find it. Steam best of 2024. And before that, they'd been talking about how they were going to pretty much move 60% of their research budget, R&D, into live service games. And they wanted to launch about 12 of them by 2026. They canceled a number, but we've also seen them more coming out. In fact, some are coming out via third-party studio partnerships with the Ratchet & Clank game, the Horizon MMO that's actually being developed. And then, even within their own studios, they were going ahead to develop some more live service games. Remember when they canceled Ben's game, right? Ben Studios. People thought, oh, they've stopped doing live service games. Contrary to that, they're actually still going to be making live service games, as even Guerrilla themselves are still working on a Horizon game that will be live service. So this 60% investment is now basically getting more and more focus into live service, as live service has the potential to out-earn single-player games. Because, believe it or not, from a profitability standpoint and an investment standpoint, anybody would rather invest in Helldivers 2 than Spider-Man 2. Do you know why? Spider-Man 2 cost a whopping $350 million to develop, right? Having sold 11 million units on the PlayStation platform, it went to PC within 13 months or so, and PlayStation has to keep paying percentage fees to Marvel. With Helldivers 2, they don't have that burden. Do you understand? And Marvel's percentages are insane. With MLB The Show, seemingly they don't have that burden either, because even if they did have that burden, they don't put the game on Xbox, and it seems like they're about to put the game on PC to increase their sales so that they can still be profitable in that regard. Are you seeing this? And MLB The Show has a propensity to keep a player base that's constantly paying and buying, and so does Helldivers 2. And they want to replicate that success if they can 5, 6, 7, 8 times, because it will be more profitable than 20 single-player tentpole titles. Obviously, it can keep raking in cash. Look at Fortnite. Look at Roblox. Look at Minecraft. Look at GTA 5 online. Look at Call of Duty. Look at Apex Legends. Go down the list of the Piscatella 15, and you realize that these are the kinds of games that these companies have basically sat on for years. So, even though they may have said to you over on some forum, oh yeah, we're thoughtfully releasing our single-player tentpole titles on PC, it's a perception game rather than a financial game. Because the perception game is we're going to slow roll these single-player games, but the financial game is we're going to go full head-on with the live service games, because that's where the money is. That's where we're going to see our return on investment. And that's why Herman Hulst told you guys here that they're going to commit to releasing one single-player game each year. While this same year, they've announced how many live service games that they're going to be making money from. The mobile games too, right? And then the Horizon game, well, they didn't announce the Horizon game from Guerrilla, but that's already been known. And then even Ben started continuing to hire, and when we saw what they were hiring for, it was a live service game. This is the PlayStation that you're going to be getting from now henceforth. If you like live service games, you're going to get it from them, right? If you like their single-player games, your console's going to collect dust. That's what's going to happen. Watch and see. I mean, Intergalactic, what is the news going on? That Intergalactic may not launch this console generation. Why? Because they probably want to use it to leverage the PS6. For those of you that still believe in the perception game, keep it up. That's what it is that they want to do. And if you're believing that it's effective, it's working if you actually think that this is, some kind of a special thing. But in reality, it's just a financial thing. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Talk to me in the comment section. Peace out.